Imagine this. You're sitting at a cafe, coffee cooling in front of you, sunlight filtering through the window. Across from you, a friend is speaking. Something about their job, their weekend, their life. You nod along, but your fingers twitch toward your phone in your pocket. You resist, for now. But then, a vibration, a notification, a flicker of anticipation, you don't even realize you've reached for it until the screen lights up your face. Just a quick glance, that's all. But when you look up again, your friend's expression has changed. A slight tightening around their eyes, a barely perceptible sigh. They pause, then continue. But something is lost, the thread of connection, the unspoken understanding that comes from being fully present. You feel it too, a quiet guilt, a hollowness. You tell yourself it's just a habit. Everyone does it. But deep down, this isn't just about politeness. Something fundamental has shifted in the way your mind works. The great paradox: social media was designed to bring us closer, yet it has engineered a new kind of loneliness, one that thrives in the very act of connection. We are more reachable than ever, yet we feel unheard. We broadcast our lives in high definition, yet we've never been more uncertain of who we really are. How did we get here? The answer isn't just about willpower or self-control. It's about something far more insidious. Your brain is being rewired, not by accident, but by design. The silent hijacking. Every time you scroll, your brain is being conditioned, like a gambler pulling the lever of a slot machine. The rewards are unpredictable. A like here, a comment there, a burst of outrage or validation. This is called variable reinforcement, and it's the same mechanism that keeps addicts hooked. Your dopamine system, the chemical engine of desire, has been hacked. But it's not just the rewards. It's the emptiness that follows. The way your mind, starved of real engagement, begins to crave the digital noise just to feel something. The way silence, once a space for reflection, now feels unbearable. The unsettling questions. What happens to a brain that is trained to seek constant external validation? Are you still capable of deep focus, or has your attention been fractured into fragments? When was the last time you sat with your own thoughts, without distraction, without escape? If you stripped away the likes, the shares, the curated persona, who would you be? This isn't just about wasting time. This is about the slow erosion of your inner life, the realization you are not the user, you are the product. And the most unsettling truth, you volunteered for this. The compulsion to check your phone isn't weakness. It's the result of a perfect storm of psychological vulnerabilities and philosophical blind spots that have existed for centuries. To understand why social media's grip is so powerful, we must descend into the depths of human nature itself, the ancient brain in a digital world. Your brain evolved over millennia to seek three fundamental things: status, belonging, and novelty. These drives kept our ancestors alive in hunter-gatherer tribes, but today they've become the levers that social media pulls with ruthless efficiency. The like button didn't create our need for validation. It simply digitized an ancient social accounting system. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar suggests our brains can only maintain about 150 meaningful relationships, Dunbar's number. Yet here you are, performing for thousands of semi-strangers, your amygdala mistaking their digital reactions for genuine tribal belonging. The philosophers who saw it coming, Nietzsche, warned about the herd mentality over a century before the first tweet. His concept of the last man, the comfortable, distracted consumer who prioritizes shallow pleasures over deep meaning, reads like a prophecy of the Instagram age. Distraction is the only thing that consoles us for our miseries, wrote Pascal in the 1600s, describing what we now call doom scrolling. Existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre's famous line, "Hell is other people," takes on new meaning when applied to social media. The constant comparison, the performance of identity, the endless judgment, it's an existential torture chamber we carry in our pockets. The attention economy's dark alchemy tech companies didn't invent these vulnerabilities. They weaponized them. Like alchemists turning lead into gold, they've transformed our fear of missing out into infinite scroll, our social comparison instinct into curated highlight reels, our novelty seeking into algorithmic rabbit holes. Psychologist B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning experiments, where pigeons learn to peck buttons for unpredictable rewards, now play out millions of times per second across human nervous systems. The variable reinforcement schedules that kept his pigeons compulsively pecking are the same patterns that keep you refreshing your feed. The digital shadow self. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the repressed parts of ourselves we deny, has found fertile ground in social media. The platforms don't just reflect our personalities, they amplify and distort them. The progressive activist becomes a rage addict. The wellness influencer develops orthorexia. The centrist becomes a radical. Your online persona isn't a lie. It's a hyper-real caricature of one slice of your psyche, fed by engagement metrics until it threatens to consume the whole. As Jung warned, what we resist not only persists, but will grow in size. The modern panopticon Michel Foucault described the panopticon, a prison where inmates self-censor because they might always be watched. Social media has internalized this surveillance. Even when alone, you perform as if observed. Your thoughts begin to curate themselves before they are fully formed. The result? A chilling effect on authentic selfhood. The dopamine paradox neuroscientist Anna Lembke's research reveals a cruel irony. The very pleasure we chase creates the pain we're trying to escape. Each dopamine hit from social media use lowers your baseline, making ordinary life feel duller. You enter a pleasure-pain seesaw where you need increasing stimulation just to feel normal, the hallmark of addiction. The fundamental question, are you using these platforms to express yourself, or have the platforms reshaped what you consider expressible? When your thoughts automatically frame themselves as shareable content, when your experiences feel unreal until validated through likes, who is really authoring your inner life? The terrifying truth is this: social media hasn't just changed how we communicate. It's changing what we're capable of thinking, what we consider valuable, even what we recognize as real. The most successful platforms aren't those that adapt to human nature. They're the ones that adapt human nature to their profit models. You wake up to your third alarm, groggy but reaching instinctively for your phone. Before your feet touch the floor, you've already consumed a day's worth of information in the 1600s. Headlines, memes, a friend's vacation photos, a political rant, a celebrity scandal, all before your first conscious thought forms. This isn't multitasking. This is cognitive fragmentation. The atrophy of attention neuroscientists confirm what you've suspected. Your attention span isn't what it used to be. Studies tracking eye movements show the average person now reads in an F pattern, skimming headlines, darting between keywords, rarely reaching the end of paragraphs. The deep linear reading that shaped human civilization for centuries is being replaced by what technologists call the pinball mind. But this goes beyond reading habits. MRI scans reveal heavy social media users have visibly different brain structures in areas governing attention and emotional regulation. It's not just that you're distracted. Your neural architecture is literally reorganizing around distraction. The emotional contagion effect. That vague sense of dissatisfaction after scrolling isn't imagination. Facebook's own research, leaked in 2014, proved emotions spread virally through networks. When your feed shows mostly positive posts, you feel worse about your own life. When it skews negative, your worldview darkens. Either way, you lose, caught in what psychologists call compare and despair. More disturbing? This emotional manipulation isn't accidental. Platforms A/B test, which content variants provoke strongest reactions, then amplify those. Your outrage, your envy, your anxiety. They've all been focus grouped and optimized. The collapse of context. Historian Daniel Boorstin warned about pseudo-events, happenings created specifically to be reported. Now we live in his prophecy. Viral challenges, performative activism, outrage cycles, much of what floods your feed exists only to be shared. The line between experience and content has dissolved. Consider how often you now think, this would make a good post. That framing, evaluating lived moments through their shareability, represents a fundamental shift in human consciousness. We're becoming experience collectors rather than experience havers. The erosion of private selfhood. Psychologist Sherry Turkle's research reveals a generational shift, where older subjects describe feeling alone together in digital spaces. Younger ones report feeling together alone, even in physical company. The constant performance of self has made unmediated existence feel somehow incomplete, like life without a soundtrack. Your private thoughts now compete with imagined audiences before they fully form. That internal monologue is becoming an internal press conference. The neurological toll memory. Constant interruption prevents experiences from consolidating into long-term memory. Many heavy users report feeling like their lives are passing in a blur. Impulse control. The instant gratification model erodes patience. Studies show decreased ability to delay rewards correlates with social media use. Stress response. The ping of notifications triggers microsurges of cortisol, keeping users in a perpetual low-grade fight-or-flight state. The social consequences offline interactions now compete with digital ghosts. That dinner where friends keep checking phones? It's not just rude, it creates what psychologists call absent presence, where physical togetherness becomes a thin veneer over parallel digital existences. More troubling, platforms reward extreme views. Moderates don't generate engagement. The result? A society bifurcating into opposing camps, each convinced the other is both evil and omnipresent. The fundamental shift. This isn't about willpower. Your brain's reward system has been reverse-engineered by trillion-dollar corporations employing hundreds of behavioral psychologists. The playing field isn't level. You're bringing a neurochemical knife to a psychological gunfight. The most successful social media platforms don't just capture attention, they colonize mental processes. Your memory, why remember when you can post? Your social calibration, likes as approval metrics. Even your identity, personal brand as self, have been outsourced to digital platforms. When you instinctively reach for your phone during a spare moment, when boredom feels intolerable, when silence makes you anxious, these aren't personal failings. They're the symptoms of a mind adapting to an environment engineered to keep it craving, consuming, and performing. The screen before you is a battleground, not for your time, but for your very consciousness. To win this war, you'll need more than app timers and good intentions. You'll need psychological warfare tactics drawn from neuroscience, ancient wisdom traditions, and radical digital minimalism. Cognitive reclamation, rewiring through deprivation. Neurologist Donald Hebb's famous axiom, neurons that fire together, wire together, holds the key to your liberation. Just as your brain learned its current patterns through repetition, it can unlearn them through deliberate deprivation. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Partial measures fail. Like an alcoholic trying just one drink, the slightest taste reactivates entire craving networks. The solution? A 30-day digital detox, not to reset your habits, but to experience the startling revelation of who you are without constant input. Expect withdrawal symptoms, phantom vibration syndrome, obsessive thoughts about missing out, even identity confusion. These aren't signs you're failing, they're proof the rewiring has begun. Attention fortification, building mental muscle. Attention is a muscle atrophied by constant interruption. To rebuild it, you'll need to practice single tasking with religious devotion, eating without screens, walking without podcasts. Cultivate productive boredom, scheduled periods of deliberate non-stimulation. Relearn deep reading through physical books. Start with just 15 uninterrupted minutes. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's research on flow states reveals an irony. The deepest satisfaction comes not from consuming content, but from complete absorption in challenging activities. Your brain knows this. It's why you feel more alive after an hour of painting or problem solving than after 8 hours of scrolling. Digital minimalism, the art of strategic exclusion. Author Cal Newport proposes treating tech like a professional chef treats knives, keeping only the essential tools that serve specific purposes, ruthlessly discarding the rest. Apply this to your digital life. Delete all social apps from your phone, access only via browser when necessary. Turn your phone grayscale, reducing dopamine-triggering color rewards. Create sacred spaces where tech is forbidden. Bedroom, dining table, the Identity Reclamation Project. Social media didn't just hijack your attention, it fragmented your identity. To rebuild, conduct a values audit. Write down what truly matters. Then compare with how you spend time online. Start a private journal, by hand, to rediscover thoughts not meant for performance. Relearn solitude through daily digital Sabbaths, hours completely offline, Philosopher Martin Buber distinguished between I-it relationships, treating others as objects, and thou connections, authentic encounters. Social media systematically converts thou into it. Your rebellion begins when you start noticing, then reversing, this transformation in daily interactions. The attention dividend. As you implement these changes, you'll notice something extraordinary. What writer Jenny Odell calls the attention dividend. Time won't just feel longer. It will become qualitatively different. You'll experience spontaneous recall of forgotten memories, resurgence of childhood curiosity, unexpected creative insights, genuine presence in conversations. These aren't just benefits. They're evidence of cognitive functions reawakening after artificial suppression. The resistance framework awareness. Install tracking apps not to limit use, but to study your own patterns, like an anthropologist observing a tribe replacement. For every minute subtracted from screens, add a minute to a meaningful offline activity. Environment design, make good habits inevitable. Charge phone outside bedroom, keep books everywhere. Social accountability. Form attention defense groups where members report weekly screen times, the ultimate test. Here's how you'll know it's working. When you find yourself bored and reach not for a device, but for your own thoughts. When silence stops feeling like emptiness and becomes fertile ground. When you can sit through an entire meal, a whole commute, a long walk, with nothing but your mind for company, and emerge energized rather than depleted. This isn't about rejecting technology. It's about reclaiming your right to choose when and if you engage with it. The goal isn't digital abstinence, but digital intentionality. Using tools when you decide to, not when they demand it. What if the greatest casualty of social media isn't your attention span, your productivity, or even your relationships, but something far more fundamental? What if the true cost is your ability to be fully, deeply, unapologetically, without external validation? The illusion of the quantified self. You've been conditioned to believe that visibility equals existence. If you don't post about it, did it really happen? If no one likes it, was it even worth doing? This is the great lie of the digital age, that your worth can be measured in metrics. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. The moment you need an audience to confirm your reality, you have already surrendered your autonomy. Philosopher Jean Baudrillard warned of the hyper-real, a world where simulations replace genuine experience. Social media is the ultimate hyper-real. The curated self you perform online isn't just a distortion, it's a replacement, slowly annexing your private sense of identity, the return to the unmediated mind. When you begin to detox, when you stop feeding the algorithm with your fears, desires, and outrage, something unsettling happens. At first, it feels like loss. The silence is deafening. The lack of feedback is unnerving. But then, if you persist, something shifts. You start to notice thoughts that don't fit into captions. You rediscover emotions that can't be expressed in emojis. You remember what it's like to do something for its own sake. Not for the story, not for the content, but simply because it moves you. This is what psychologist Erich Fromm called the art of being, the capacity to exist without justification, without performance, without metrics. It's not just a skill you lost, it's a birthright you forgot you had. The algorithm and the soul social media doesn't just distract you, it displaces you. It convinces you that the most important things happening are out there, in the news feed, in the comments, in the viral trends, rather than in here, in the quiet spaces of your own mind. But the soul doesn't speak in notifications. Insight doesn't arrive in push alerts. The moments that truly shape you, the realizations that alter the course of your life, happen in the gaps, the pauses, the unrecorded hours. The French mystic Simone Weil wrote, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. By scattering your attention across endless digital demands, you've been unknowingly stingy with yourself. You've starved your own depth." The final realization. The ultimate rebellion isn't deleting your accounts, it's reclaiming your right to irrelevance. It's the willingness to have thoughts that never become tweets, experience joy that never gets photographed, change your mind without updating your bio, be misunderstood, unnoticed, or forgotten, and still feel whole. This is what the digital age has tried to erase, the sacred, uncommodified self that exists beyond the feed. The choice ahead. When you log off, truly log off, You'll face a moment of existential vertigo. Without the constant noise, who are you? Without the performance, what's left? At first, it may feel like emptiness, but stay with it. That emptiness isn't a void, it's a clearing. And in that clearing, something unexpected will emerge. Yourself. Not the optimized avatar, not the personal brand, just the raw, unedited, unmarketable human being you were before the world told you to monetize your consciousness. This is the paradox. The thing social media promised to help you find, your authentic self, is the very thing it systematically destroys. The way forward. You don't have to disappear into the woods or swear off technology forever, but you must create spaces in your life where you exist beyond quantification. Start small, 1 meal a day without screens, 1 walk without headphones, 1 notebook for thoughts no one will ever see. Over time, these acts of quiet defiance will rebuild what was eroded. Not just your attention, but your interiority, your capacity to dwell in the unshared, unliked, unmeasured moments. The last truth. Here's what the algorithms don't want you to remember. You are not a node in a network. You are not a data point. You are not an engagement metric. You are a living, breathing, irreducible mystery, too vast to be captured in a profile, too deep to be measured in followers. The most subversive thing you can do in the age of social media is to disappear, not from the world, but from the machine, to reclaim your right to opacity, to nurture thoughts that no algorithm can predict, to exist gloriously and unapologetically beyond the feed. The digital world will keep scrolling without you, but you'll finally be free to live.